Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about whether or not the impressive price action that we've seen across the crypto markets over the past couple of weeks is the beginning of a new bull market, which will ultimately result in new all-time highs by the end of 2022, or whether it's just another bull trap. All right, if you guys have been tuned into the channel over the past couple of weeks, then you know where I sit on this argument personally, but I'll do my best over the course of this video to argue for both the bull and the bear case from both a technical and fundamental perspective, at least as well as I can. Number one rule of debate is always be able to argue for the opposition better than they can. So I'll attempt to do that today. All right, let's get into it, you guys. We'll go over each of the tabs that we'll be discussing today, those that I want to share with you, both technical and fundamental. Once again, we got some articles to cover for the first time in a while, which I'm pretty stoked about. So we'll do that, and then we'll dive into each tab individually. All right, to kick it off, we will cover Bitcoin on the charts. We're going to launch it. We have a bunch of articles to cover in regard to Bitcoin, but just to get straight to the point, talk some price action. We will kick it off with Bitcoin on the charts on TradingView, talk to you guys about some of the levels and indicators that I'm eyeballing right now, which are giving me the inclination as to which direction Bitcoin will ultimately go over the short to medium term. So we'll kick it off on the charts with Bitcoin. We'll go over all of the articles, and then we'll close it out with Ethereum on the charts. Okay, so in terms of articles, this is an article, but this is just CoinMarketCap to take a look at the price of both Bitcoin and Ethereum over the past 24 hours, 7 days, just to put things in perspective a bit more. But the first article that we actually have to cover is one that I'm sure by now you've all already heard or seen memes of, because this is freaking crazy. So, U.S. officials seize 3.6 billion in Bitcoin from 2016 Bitfinex hack. Nearly 120,000 Bitcoin were stolen in the hack. This is crazy. We don't have much to go over here. Just go over a few sentences, just kind of catch up on this. And the primary reason I want to talk to this with you guys is because this obviously contributes to the optics of Bitcoin. Okay, now Bitcoin, there's always the bull argument for Bitcoin from a long-term perspective, but when it comes to the current environment, the current macro environment we're in, hyper volatility, there's still a lot of emotion in the market. So things like this that contribute to positive or negative optics are actually very important when it comes to price action, because things are still very emotional and volatile at this moment in time. Okay, so that's important to remember. But this is one of the gems, one of the absolute gems behind this hack, a cringe or money laundering scheme, I guess you could say. A cringe rapper / Forbes contributor allegedly found with billions in stolen Bitcoin. Okay, so this is just to put a face to it, you guys. This is more for fun. I just wanted to kind of spice this video up a little bit and talk to you guys, give you guys my thoughts on this whole situation, because it is absolutely whack. But hey, it's crypto. That's what you love. I mean, you love to see this. Crypto is a massive market. There's bound to be some crazy things happening in the space, and it's a pretty degenerate market at that. I think we can all agree to that. Okay, so ultimately, I will argue this as bad news, but we got some good news as well. Russia to regulate crypto, dispelling fears of bans. So this just came out. I don't know if I mean, you guys have probably seen this as well by now. I trust a lot of you guys follow Bitcoin pretty closely, but we'll go over this. I'll let you guys know what I think about this. And ultimately, same as this, the impact that this will have on crypto. This one's a lot less optics. This was actually tangible good news. So good news for Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies overall for the long term. And yeah, this is big because Russia is one of the largest economies in the world. Okay, so let's dive into Bitcoin. Before we do though, you guys, please let me know in the comments down below if you think this analysis is absolutely whack. But if so, again, argue the opposition. Why is it whack? Why am I wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. One more thing. Actually, I'm leaving tonight for the Super Bowl, taking the family to the Super Bowl. Mom, pops, the lady. Super Bowl LVI, Los Angeles Rams Stadium, SoFi Stadium, I should say. SoFi Stadium, Rams, Bengals. I got the Rams. Who do you guys got down below? I'm pumped, and I'll be documenting that whole thing on IG. So if you're not following me on IG, do that as well. And last little plug, and then we'll dive into the charts, you guys, I promise. I will be recording right after I record this, actually, the part 2 to the newsletter that I write every morning. So kick it off with the trades I made, the macro, and the intro to the newsletter. And then after, I do send out some charts and whatnot. But mess it up, I'm going to be sending out a private kind of Sunday stock watch exclusive video later today. Again, right after I record this, I'm going to record this for the newsletter group, which I will send the private link to via email to all the subscribers, obviously. And I do think I will be implementing this over the course of the week while I'm in Cali, and maybe in the future to come, because this completely dependent on how you guys like it. If you guys are currently subscribers, please let me know how you like this format in the comments down below, and also in the comments of the private video. I'll send that link out as soon as that thing's uploaded. Okay, so that's that. If you guys want access to this complete portfolio, all my positions, you want to know how I'm trading on a day-to-day basis, along with the newsletter, it's private links, private videos, private Sunday stock watches and whatnot. There we go. First link down below, 50 bucks a month, 40 bucks for every 3 months. It means a lot if you check it out. I think it's worth it, but I'm biased. If not, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching. Now let's dive into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, at the time of recording, is coming up on some very key levels right here. Obviously, after the break of resistance on Bitcoin's descending channel right here, very significant break of resistance, closure above, Bitcoin shot up. That's when we saw that initial massive candle go from a low of 37.3 to a high on the day of 41.7. Very significant jump to the upside. Since then, we have been seeing just a very, very solid rally, and you'll love to see it. But what I really don't like to see right now, on top of all the fundamentals, over the past couple of videos, I've been talking a lot of fundamentals. Watch the video I posted right before this if you haven't already, covering kind of, it's like, is there still a market crash coming, a stock market crash coming, where I cover the fundamentals. Again, Fed stepping in, CPI data coming out tomorrow at the time of recording. Inflation is obviously going to be running hot, and that's great news for Bitcoin, but it's not great news if the Fed decides to raise rates at a more significant rate than they already are scheduled to. Okay, so again, not going to get deep into that. We're just talking technicals right now. But remember, you guys, there are a lot of macroeconomic headwinds that are staring Bitcoin, staring the equity markets in the face right now. Okay, so that is kind of the fundamentals. That's as deep as we'll get on the macro. Let's get back to technicals. So Bitcoin, again, broke out of resistance on the descending channel. Good news from a short-term perspective. We are now coming up here to some very crucial levels. Bitcoin did successfully, with a break of about 40, just call it $45,000, with a break of 44,445, did technically break above this previous high set over here. Now, what I don't really like to see right now is that we actually haven't seen a daily closure above these levels just yet. Okay, so still have not seen a daily closure, but we are looking good. You could say Bitcoin also, on top of a lot of other charts right now, is kind of seeing an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So inverse head and shoulders, we'll bring this up. Let's kick it off with the bear or the bull argument. I'm sorry. Where the heck? I think it's actually over here. Boom, arc. So boop, arc. Let's copy paste that guy right there. Boom, and then boom, boom. That is the head and shoulders pattern. So obviously shoulder, inverse head and shoulders, I'm sorry. So shoulder, head, shoulder, going straight. Maybe we trade sideways in this range a little bit prior to ultimately resolving this head and shoulders, which at its peak would resolve itself technically around $52,000. That would be bullish. That would make me extremely bullish if we see that. And I do think that's very possible prior to another little move to the downside, maybe to $41,000. Whoa! Move to the downside to about $41,000, test the initial high here set on that parabolic rally, and then maybe come back up. And I do think that's very possible, and that would happen by the end of the month in the case that it does actually go down. But again, what I don't like to see, so this is the bearish argument right here. What I don't like to see is that the daily Stokes are double topping right here. Okay, the daily stochastic RSI double top when you see the top, curl to the downside, curl back up, and then curl to the downside again, which Bitcoin is very, very close to doing. That usually results in more downside. Let's see if we can find an example of that. It's kind of right here. Okay, so again, move up, down, another move up, that double top right there, followed by a massive move to the downside, which you can see occur right there. That's just an example. You guys can go look at the Bitcoin chart if you want. Of course, you have to have stochastic RSIs turned on, but you can find plenty of examples of that, not only Bitcoin but across the markets, and that's what I don't like to see right now. Okay, so that double top, double kind of wavy top on Bitcoin. Okay, so I do think there is still significant potential for this to be a bull trap, once again, given all the macroeconomic headwinds, given the fact that I still remain bearish on the equity markets, and there is still a high level of correlation between Bitcoin and the equity markets. So a lot of bear arguments, but there's, again, a lot of bull arguments as well. Let's quickly cover that bull argument right here. And obviously, you guys, I do still think that I will say by month's end, worst case scenario for Bitcoin is going to be $24,000 if things really get gnarly. But I do think that we could see another bottom around $30,000 to retest this previous high, retest the previous line of resistance, this white right here, TA 101. Previous resistance will act as new support. I do think that by month's end, it's very possible that this previous resistance that was broken through just about a week ago now will come back into play in the case that this is a bull trap and we do see more downside as new support, bringing us down to just under, let's call it exactly 30K by the end of the month. Okay, so that's that. But again, it's very possible that we play out this inverse head and shoulders right here as well, and maybe we see $52,000 by the end of the month in this market. It's wild. It's pretty much a coin flip, so I'm not going to speak at any absolutes here. But again, you guys do with all of this information what you will. Let's take a look at that bull argument, and then we'll go over these a little bit and then dive into Ethereum to close it out. So, Russia to regulate crypto. The government's plan to license exchanges and tax large transactions has the support of the central bank, which previously wanted to outlaw mining and trading. Good news, instead of banning cryptocurrencies, the Russian government has decided to regulate them, legitimizing a $2 trillion asset class in the world's 11th largest economy. So Russia, obviously the talk of the town right now, the talk of the macro, just the geopolitical landscape. Putin, really, I mean, getting in bed with Xi Jinping. China and Russia, that is not a friendship. That is necessarily good news for the U.S. This is sketch. And it does speak to kind of some global, again, geopolitical, there we go. I keep saying global economic because I've been saying it so much, but geopolitical turmoil in the fact that they are now accepting cryptocurrency as a global, crypto as an actual currency. Okay, so that's a little weird. Now again, this is very new. This is still, I don't even know if any of this is actually signed on the dotted line yet, but good news, they are heading in the right direction. This is obviously where crypto is going in the future, a borderless economy. And now, is this enough? Is this enough to spark some crazy price action? Bitcoin and Ethereum have not necessarily reacted to this news in a very significant way. But again, long term, this is obviously good news. Again, over time, all global economies will accept crypto as whether they're securities, whether they're currencies, tomato. It's very unlikely that these will be banned, because ultimately the banning of Bitcoin, Ethereum, this next iteration of the financial system will put you at a disadvantage. Again, geopolitically. Okay, so that's that good news here. Let's cover these real quick few sentences, and then we'll dive into Ether. Federal officials see some 3.6 billion of Bitcoin tied to the 2016 hack. Agents arrested 2 individuals in New York on Tuesday on charges they conspired to launder proceeds from the Bitfinex hack in 2016. The married couple, Ilya L. and Heather Morgan, will appear in court. These two are so whack, you guys. I don't know if you've seen these guys yet. Again, if you guys are on Bitcoin YouTube, you've for sure seen this couple. You've seen all the memes by now. Praying for Exits is a great Instagram page that you guys should go check out. He posts some fire memes. So Praying for Exits and actually Liquidity is equally as funny, so go follow those if you guys are into the markets and stuff. Great Instagram pages. But this is crazy, you guys. This chick is a rapper, former Forbes contributor. Turns out she was she specializes in pretty much game theory and manipulative practices. Okay, so it's crazy to see this happen. The other guy's like a Y Combinator alum. He's part of the mafia. So not actual mafia, but the Y Combinator mafia. That's kind of like terminology in that space. But crazy stuff here, you guys. Again, from an optics perspective, obviously bad news. Kind of feeds the narrative that Bitcoin is the currency of criminals, which realistically still, you can't really. The U.S. dollar is being like, there's more U.S. dollars laundered than cryptocurrency. Yeah. But there's way more U.S. dollars in circulation. That's just kind of the nature of the U.S. dollar being the global reserve currency still at this date. Now, will that hold true? I don't know. China, Russia. we'll see what happens there. But again, still from an optics perspective, this is bad news. Okay, so that's that. Let's close it out with Ether on the chart. So short term, Ether is in breakout mode, similar to that longer term line of resistance on this very significant downtrend, obviously dating back to the all-time highs we saw back in November, December. Ether, similar to Bitcoin, in this very significant line of resistance, significant kind of descending channel right here. We can draw the bottom. This is a weird descending channel, but I mean, actually that's pretty perpendicular right there. So that is the descending channel that Ether is in, but it did just break out of that a few days back, okay, which obviously led to some nice short-term upside follow that break. Now this break, the upside we are seeing following this break is worrying me. I was saying the same thing about Tesla in the newsletter that ultimately got erased earlier, but anyway, which I will cover in the video after this. But I don't like to see a break of resistance followed by sideways price action. This break, usually when you see a break this significant, in the case there is actually true bullish sentiment, you should see a lot, like much more impressive price action than this, okay? So now, do we see that by tomorrow? It's very possible. By the time you guys watch this video, even maybe. But this isn't as impressive as I would like to see for such a significant break of resistance, okay? So short term, I will say that I think it's extremely likely that Ether does ultimately come down. Unless it goes up first, it could very well come up here, kind of play out the same head and shoulders pattern you can see right here. So shoulder, inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, other shoulder, ultimately coming back up to resolve around here, around like 38, 39 hundo. So maybe we see that. That's very possible as well. But also, I think it's extremely likely, honestly. Again, I do think the rest of this week will close out red for the equity markets. That Ether comes down to retest, again, that previous line of resistance, use it as new support, while also testing the line of support here you can see on Ether's short-term uptrend on this nice rally we've seen from those lows a couple of weeks back, which would take us down on February 13th, Super Bowl day, Rams or Bengals, let me know once again, to just under $3,000. And if we reclaim this descending channel, that's where I definitely get bearish, and that's where I do think lows will lie ahead of us, okay? New yearly lows, of course, okay? New year, like the lowest we've seen Ether since back here in July of 2021. Do I think this is possible? Absolutely. Do I think we can go even lower than that? I absolutely do, but hey, can we go higher? Can we see new all-time highs this year? Unlikely, but it's freaking crypto. Anything's possible, okay? So again, let me know if you agree or disagree with my sentiment, with anything said in this video. If you think we missed anything, please share with everyone else. Please share with the Waves fam down below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys downstairs in the comments. So till next time, you guys, this is the last video I will see, at least in the lab, in the office, until about a week from now. So have a great week, you guys. Have a great Super Bowl weekend. Cheers it up. Drink good. I mean, Super Bowl weekend, it's more about the party. It's more about hanging out with friends, family, drinking good drink, and eating good food. So have a great, safe Super Bowl weekend, you guys. And yeah, till next time. Always remember, take action. Make waves. Peace.